In this example, we're going to visualize rounding numbers with base blocks. So you've probably rounded a number before, but let's just talk about what rounding means. So rounding means to estimate a number with another number that is close in value. For example, if you were going to buy a TV and it cost $323.57, you probably wouldn't want to share all of those numbers with someone who would ask. So maybe you'd say it was about $320 or maybe $330. You'd give a number that's close but simpler. And that's what we want to do when we round. So let's begin by trying to visualize this process by using the number 245, and we're going to represent it with base blocks to get this picture. So 245 with base blocks would be 2 flats, 4 rods, and 5 units. Now the next question asks, what two flat numbers does 245 lie between? So here's 245 and it has 2 flats, but it has more than 2 flats, but because it has these rods and units. But it's also less than 3 flats because we can't regroup this to make a new flat. So I'm just going to draw a little picture here. If we wanted to approximate this number with flats or hundreds, two very good candidates would be 2 flats or 3 flats. So it lies between 2 and 3 flats. The next question asks, what number of flats is 245 closest? So our better approximation, rounding it to the nearest number of flats, would be whichever one it lies between, but it's closer to. So now looking at this image, you can imagine which one it might be closer to. So we would need to add another 5 units and another 5 rods, or 55, in order to make this equal to 300. So it's 55 away from 300. And we know it has 45 more than 200, because 245 is 245 more. So we can tell now that it's closest to 2 flats. So if we were to round this number to the nearest hundred, 200 would be a good approximation. Let's look at the next question. What two rod numbers does 245 lie between? So this is similar to the last question, but now it's asking us in terms of rods, or similar to rounding to the nearest 10. Well, we know that it has, we're still going to include the flats, it's 2 flats and 4 rods. Okay, it has that many, but it has less than, it has a few units more, but not enough to make 2 flats and 5 rods. So the number of rod numbers it lies between is 4 and 5. The next question asks, what number of rods is 245 closest? Well, here we know that it's 245 is 5 units away from 240, and it's also 5 units away from 250. We would need to take away 5 here and add 5 here. So we're going to answer this as they are equally close. And we're going to learn in the next video how we round when that's the case.